Good news, if it's true, that you might have picked up as much as 8 points in the polls last night in West Virginia. But you hear what is coming at you from the Weekly Standard. They say that you're another Sharon Angle, another Roy Moore, and that you could present a disaster for your party in a general election in West Virginia.
Well, I think they're just wrong. You know, they've been wrong a lot. They've been wrong so far in this campaign. I'm a little bit miffed that a China person is discriminatory. I thought that if you referred to someone as an Asian or whatever, you might try to throw it in that category. But somebody from China is from China. Somebody from the U.S. is from U.S. But to the extent anybody thinks that that's a racial slur, I'm sorry, but I don't see it.
Okay, understood. What about Cocaine Mitch? Some people I think a lot of people would say that that's a big reach. And that it suggests something that is simply not true, and that it's such a sort of tangential association with a ship that had drugs on it, ostensibly, that is somehow related to his wife's father. You have been the subject you've been so maligned for things that you say you didn't do and that people don't fully understand. So why would you take that tack with someone else?
Well, maybe it's to make the point you just made, that I've been maligned for things I didn't do. So, but the bottom line is that,
so an eye for an eye, I guess,
owns the ship. No, it's more or less that, there are things that don't go the way you want them to go. And, having cocaine on a family-owned ship certainly should be of interest, because cocaine deaths in this country keep going up. And even though that ship was, I think, headed to Europe, we still need to be aware that there are cocaine and other drugs moving on the high seas on commercial ships. And if nothing else, it should make us aware that we need to be careful when these commercial ships are docking in countries to see what's on them. And certainly the family of Elaine Chao and Maccallum should be no exception to that.
All right. I think that, as I said, people would find that to be a bit of a reach to call him Cocaine Mitch. But you have said that, and that's your explanation for it. Let me ask you about this, because if you do win in the primary next Tuesday night, Democrats, are pretty much already preparing ads, no doubt. You've already seen the kind of ads that will be leveled against you. One of them will go after you on environmental issues, that they'll say that the methods that you used for mining in West Virginia caused cancer in some people, and that you diverted the water source to your own home while you let the water in the rest of your neighborhood that had coal slurry in it be contaminated. So those will be asked of you, sir. So what would you say to those charges?
Well, first of all, the house that's in the ad's not even my house, so that's a good place to start, probably.
Did you provide your own water source in your neighborhood from a different well?
No, it's a longer story than you probably got time for. But the city, which is a small town nearby, had run water down close to my home on their own, and it gave me a chance to pick up that water. But at that point, no one even knew there was a concern about any wells, and I'm still not sure what the facts are around those wells. But it's easy to make up stories, and as you said, they're already running those ads, and they're probably going to get beat in the primary. And Joe Manchin has so much baggage that he'll be much easier to beat. So I'm not concerned about being able to beat Joe Manchin. I've beat him 2 or 3 times before on issues, and the media's slant on these issues with, a water spill or with an accident or whatever are totally different than the behavior of Joe Manchin, which is intentional.
So in terms of the fact that, we brought this up last night, with regard to your time in prison, and your probation is scheduled to end the day after the primary, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Last night it was interesting, actually, that neither one of your opponents really went after you about that at all. But here again, if you do win the primary, it will be front and center. And I know that you believe that you were falsely imprisoned. But do you think that will be a liability for you if you get into a head-to-head matchup with Senator Manchin?
Well, first of all, I don't believe that I was falsely imprisoned. I know that I was falsely imprisoned. And the reason they don't attack me is they're both attorneys, and they know what 302s are, and they know from the filing we made that 10 of the 12 302s that should have been provided to my defense from the lead witnesses were not. And they know that there was, in fact, 61 for your legal community out there, 302s that weren't turned over, and they know there were dozens of emails that had extremely exculpatory information. So the case will likely, or if there's any justice, will be invalidated before the general election anyway.
All right. Sir, thank you very much for answering questions here again tonight, and good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Don Blankenship in West Virginia. So here with Reaction tonight, co-hosts of the brand new Fox radio show. We're all excited about this. Benson and Harf, set to debut on May 7th on Sirius XM Channel 450. They already have a website, bensonandharf.com.